Hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into V or Taehyung and kind of his like swollen eyes from crying. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what happened and just in general talk about how I feel about it. I think it's definitely something that you guys would want to know. I also want to talk about Suga being a little bit upset over the BTS career and just what's been happening with them. We'll get into both of these here today and let's sip some tea. If you are new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified anytime a new video drops. And if you're a hater, like to be the first, leave your hate comment. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be the first to do so. Now let's get into it. The first thing that I want to get into is of course the crying involving Taehyung. Why was he crying? What happened? So it definitely wasn't a bad thing, but I definitely want to get into some context on what happened and then we can definitely discuss. The BTS boys get very emotional and get very emotional very often. This is expected as obviously they've reached heights in their career that no human could probably imagine. Very few people have reached that point of success and they're able to do things that not a lot of people are able to do. Everything they've accomplished is amazing, but they seem to be at a place where they can't really enjoy it either. But I'll get more into that a little bit later. A little while ago, BTS was performing at the Rose Bowl Stadium. Now this is a huge, mas grande stadium. We're talking about 90,000 people can fit into this freaking stadium, which is just an insane number. Like imagine 90,000 people just in one area watching a show. Crazy. Places like this are obviously reserved for like Super Bowl or Olympic performances and things like that. Big events. Reserved for iconic things. So for BTS to be able to get the stadium and then also sell it out is amazing. And they sold out the seats literally in seconds. So it could have been double the size and they would have been able to sell it out too. This is obviously extremely hard for anyone to do. But not my husbands. They did it. Taehyung was at the Rose Bowl Stadium stage and spoke out about it. How he and BTS will remember this day for many years to come. I would not be surprised is an extremely monumental moment and a really awesome stage to sing at. But not only that, from the footage that you could see online, you could also see the energy that was brought by armies into that stadium. Amazing energy. I could only imagine how it must have felt on that stage. Taehyung liked it so much that in a recent interview he talked about it. Taehyung talked about how he cried at his hotel room over this moment. He talked about the feelings he had when he was on stage, saying that it was hard to explain what that feeling was unless you were actually on that stage. I can't even imagine how that would feel, 90,000 people cheering you on. You feeling the love and energy of so many people. It would feel like you've made it, like all your hard work has led up to this. Taehyung also had mentioned that he feels a lot of anxiety and pressure when he goes on stage in general. So of course imagine going on a stage that big. I do think a lot of BTS does have anxiety when going on stage, just because if you don't, you tend to not care about what you're doing. And they very much care about what they're doing to the point where they're so hard on themselves when they mess up. But Taehyung mentioned how all of that melted away when he saw the armies out there and cheering for him and all that stuff. Of course, armies love to give all this love. We have so much love to give our boys. It's very important to show love to the people that you support because you don't know what they're going through. And it's moments like this that make their career kind of worth doing for them. It keeps them going. Taehyung apparently cried so much that his eyes were like swollen the next day. This is understandable. I get it. Taehyung worked so hard. All of BTS worked so hard. They obviously gave up everything to do this. And obviously they have a very successful career as entertainers to be able to have a stage of 90,000 people and sell it out. There is no one in the world that can deny that something like that means that you're successful. I thought this was really nice and touching to hear. It obviously humanizes them a lot because I would personally cry too. We live in this world kind of like a hamster wheel, I think. You just keep going and you really never take time to stop because you're scared to fall off. So you never get to really enjoy how much you have run on the wheel. However, when you are on a stage that big, there's no way to not take it in. It's not humanly possible to realize what you've done. The moment you walk on that stage and start dancing, it's like, holy cow, there's so many people here. Kind of made Taehyung take a moment to see what he has accomplished. I definitely wanted to see what some people were saying on the tweet star. One person wrote, I just found out that Taehyung said he cried himself to sleep the night after the Rose Bowl show because he was so happy. A crying today. Oh, don't make me cry. Very emotional. BTS obviously deserves the success that they have, and I wonder if they're really aware and have taken in all that they've done. They really haven't had a big break, like time off. They've had a big break in their career, obviously. But their time off happened at the end of 2019, so I hope during that time they really took a moment to be like, wow, this is what I've accomplished. And realize that not a lot of people can actually do that. It's also interesting to note that as you grow and become more successful in the world, or whatever you choose to do, a lot more of those people within the same position will start to surround you. For example, if you're a teacher, you probably have a lot of teacher friends. If you're a CEO, you'll probably have other CEO friends. And if you're the most popular boy band in the world right now, you'll probably have other popular singer friends as well. So then it can start to feel like as you get more popular or more successful, you're not really growing because everyone else around you is kind of growing too. Like if everyone around you is growing at the same time and at the same pace, you don't feel like you're growing at all because it just seems like normal. And then maybe you're feeling this game of like catch up constantly. I hope that makes sense, and I hope BTS doesn't actually feel that way. Suga's also someone who very recently in the Soup reality TV show that they have, which I am catching up on my Patreon by the way. We react to it together over there. It's a good old time. Suga talked about in one of the recent episodes how he feels about the people who describe BTS, saying that there's excessive adjectives in front of BTS that add a lot of pressure to BTS. And he said if he's going to be honest, he feels really burdened by this. This is 100% understandable. They're at the point where I feel like they literally can't do anything without people saying something about them, but they're also at the point where they're expected to be role models. They're expected to fit into what people want them to be. But obviously as singers, all you want to do is sing, right? They just want to make la music. And now there's all this other stuff and nonsense that's put on them. Get that stuff off. And of course there's also pressure from like executives, labels, and all that stuff to be able to kind of sell so and so amount of albums. I feel like to this point they can't just like wing it and call it a day. They have to kill every performance, and that's a lot of pressure. I can't imagine how this feels. They definitely really do need time to kind of sit there and relax, and I hope that each of them have a really good head on their shoulders, because the level of success they have gotten, no human can handle that. It's too much. It's too much. Suga continues to say that he wishes that a lot of people would realize that they are just human beings and that they're no different from ordinary people. This is true. BTS is super talented, but they have emphasized in many occasions and stressed that their talents wasn't just like God-given to them. They had to work every day. They had to work for many hours in rehearsal, dancing, singing, all of that stuff. And then of course doing it for years to finally reach the point at where they are now. I personally see it as very inspiring. I love that they can do it, and seeing that means that anyone can do it. Any trainee can go audition, get the part, train for years, debut, and then really kill it. But they do have to work their butt off. And I think that's the message they want to give out, which is very inspiring. If you look at them as not human, you'll just think like, well, I could never do that. They're at this like other level. But everyone starts somewhere. You can also see kind of in the Soup episodes how playful they all are, how we all know someone like each of them in terms of their personality. Their personality is similar probably to a lot of the people that we know in real life. At least very similar to some of my distant relatives. BTS is quirky, they're weird, they're hilarious, they're adorable human beings. I'm glad Suga talked about this. It's very good to know that even people at their level struggle sometimes, and struggle with finding the identity between what people think that they are and what they want to be. People tend to think people who are super famous aren't misunderstood because we know everything about them, but we don't. It's just not possible to. But then we can stop putting this extra layer of expectation on top of them and just enjoy them for what they are. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it down in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for your comments. And as always, I do have a Patreon. If you want to go over there and check out my Patreon, I have a lot of exclusive content that I can't really post on here because it'll get copyrighted or blocked or things like that. So make sure you go check it out on my Patreon. You get reaction videos like music video reactions, performance reactions, ship reactions, all that stuff. Also reality TV show reactions if you're into that. Link in the top of the description down below. Also, anything you contribute over there really gives back to this channel, helps make better videos and all that stuff. So make sure you check it out. There's also 2 videos that will appear on the screen at the end of the video. So click on one of those. See you over there. Bye.